Well, hey everybody, and thanks for joining me. It's Tammy with you today, and today we're doing beading for the bead challenged. I am the bead challenged. I'm a paper fabric kind of person, but I love beads. I like the idea of beads. I've just had some trouble with beads in my life, but I've discovered this new thin floral wire. I was trying to always bead with thread and needles, and then some of the beads that you get are seed beads and they won't fit on, and even these wouldn't even fit on my needle. And this comes with this, but it's so small. I don't know, it just wasn't working for me. And then I tried this thin wire, and then I was able to make, well, first I made some fabric beads, which let's do some of those because those are fun and they turn out kind of funky. These are for my latest journal that I'm working on, a boho journal. And then I just fed them on my wire with some regular beads, and I crimped them around with these little ones. I don't even know where I got these from, and I poached another set from my husband's toolbox. And easy stuff, and you don't need fancy supplies. These are from Dollarama, my local dollar store, or Dollar Tree. I don't go high investment on things that I don't quite know how to do yet, or I'm not sure I'm going to continue with. And these are some that I made all with regular beads. And I'm even working on this crazy idea of a bead page, and I'm weaving these through this paper. I will show this more on my Clara's journal tutorials, and I'll link the playlist to that, because this is gonna not look like this in the end, but it's gonna have all these funky beads at the bottom. So let's just start by making some fabric beads. There's tutorials all over YouTube for these, so you certainly don't have to follow what mine specifically, but if you're bead challenged as well, maybe you'll relate to what the struggles. The struggles are real. So you can have strips of fabric, because they're fabric beads. You can do this with paper as well, but I like the fabric. It's more forgiving. It moves a little easier, and I just find it quite easy to shape the bead. So you can make them with strips like this, or different sizes of strips, things that you have. You can, I was going to use this really nice fabric. Then I can rip them. I also have a rotary cutter. So let's just cut a couple with that, or your scissors, or whatever you have. And I'm not doing anything precise. I'm just looking at this, and I'm even gonna do some crazy shape with this, because just based on what I have here, I think I can still make that into a bead, and it's gonna look good. I have some old jewelry that I'd kind of taken apart, and I've used a couple things off here and there, charms, and because I want to also, for my journal, my boho journal that I'm making, I want to make a nice dangle that's going to come off the side, so I'm going to use some of these for that. And dangles can be everything that you want them to be, anything and everything. So for the fabric bead, I've been using wooden skewers, and all I'm using is tacky glue. I've got my shape. I'm going to start at the big side. As I roll this, I'm not going to start with glue right away, because then that will glue my fabric to my skewer. I have learned that through experience. So don't glue your fabric to your skewer or your straw, or maybe you even have like a proper tool, but I don't. So I just start that, and then this is nothing super fancy here. I'm just going to put some glue along this, and then I'm just going to start to roll. And I have, threads hanging off and everything. And as I roll it, I can just center my fabric as I would like it to be, because it kind of looks cool when it gets fat in the middle, right? just a little bit more. You don't have to have a super amount of glue, because I find once you get to the end, it kind of starts to smush as you get to the smaller part. And then look at that. That's it. And then as I get to the end, I just do this. I just kind of roll it the same way I've been rolling it, so that if I want to make the threads go in, I can. And look at that shape. Doesn't that look nice? And then I can take it off. I could just let it sit there and dry, or I can leave it on one of my skewers to dry. Let's do another one of these. And then let's do just this little tiny one. So this is quite a narrowing strip by the time it gets to the end. So let's see how that one turns out. Oh yeah, I like it. And I can see that there's sort of a bit of glue there. One more, and then we'll start to put some together. And these just turn out quite thin, long and thin, but they've got gold and black, so you know, they look fancy. And that's how that one's gonna look. So let's see what we want to do. Okay, so this one, I think that one turned out really nice. Let's make another one like that. I'm going to take my thin florist, you know, it could be beading wire. I don't know. It just said florist wire on the packaging. And I think maybe let's do 6 inches. And I've got my plier that doesn't really cut very well. And you know, and I am no expert at this, so I just made a little, I don't know if you can see that, just a little loop at the end so that my bead wouldn't fall off. And you know, my eyesight is not good, so I find this kind of hard to even see what I'm doing. But I just keep the loop on my little plier. So I have just a little circle there. Let's go in with a fancy gold bead first. And then what else we got? Oh, I have a needle in here. Let's use a nice red, kind of a teardrop one. Okay, and then let's go with, let's use this nice black one. Yeah, black and white. And then how about the same, let's do the same teardrop off the other side. And then another gold one. And that is it. And then I'm just going to hold this and do the same thing. Make a little circle, keep it on my pliers, twist it around, and you can see my little circle loop thing. And yeah, like I said, I'm not a jewelry maker. This, you know, so if you're a jewelry maker and you're really good at this kind of stuff, just don't look away. Just don't, because you will be horrified at the quality of what I'm doing. But I, as a paper fabric crafter, I am very pleased that I can do this, and I think it looks nice. I'm going to cut a few of these fabric bits off, but because I'm doing this for my boho, I want it to look a little bit wild. So that's cute. I like that. I made a couple of these. Okay, I want to do one more, and then I'm just gonna fashion my little dangle up for the spine of a journal. And it may be the one that I've finalized, and it may not, but we'll just do one so that we see how pretty it's gonna look, and how you can just put as many as you want on. There's my little loop. Let's do some pearly colors, and let's use this one. So I'll start with this little guy, and then I even have seed beads can even fit on this. So they're, because seed beads are tiny, of course. Oh yeah, let's use some of these. And then how about this mauvey kind of thing? Well, that's pretty. Maybe let's make this one a little longer, and then we can go in with this blue. Then we got that. Oh, doesn't that look nice? And I don't even have one of those beading trays. You know, you can, when you get into a hobby, you can get everything that is associated with it if you want. But I don't know. Ooh, I like to do so many different things. It's kind of hard to have everything for everything, so I don't. All right. I love these long bead clusters, and I got a tiny bit of fabric ends, which is, it's okay, or I can just glue them down there. Okay, so now we get to bring it all together, and I'm gonna try my hand at making this dangle. I'm gonna attach it at the top with my bulb pin. I also have these little things, I don't know what they're called, and you just snap them in and they make a little loop. You can get these at, you know, online or at craft stores. You could also just use baker's twine, and whatever you have. I think it all looks good. So I want to use a few of these, and when I put them on this, they kind of bunch up a little bit and they don't fall nicely. So I've got this old cheap necklace that has some interesting things in it. So I've taken a bit of it apart and I've used this onto my pin. So there we go. And looks like I wrapped a bit of that wire around this bead as well. I don't know if that's showing up well, but it's just some gold on that to make it look a little more fancy. Then, oh, let's put a piece of, see, look at this. Just a interesting long piece of chain with some little, you know, fake gemstone thing at the bottom. Let's put that on, and then now I've got some nice some length going on here. That's nice. Let's see what else. I think I wanna, oh, what about this? This is nice. This is an earring that goes with that necklace, and I'm just gonna put it on even with the earring clasp, because why not? That looks good, and it will give it a little bit of jingle. I've got another one of these beads that I've put a little bit of that chain onto. Let's put that on. And if you stick around till the end, I will show you my boho journal and how I've used a couple of these in there now, so I can give you some ideas. What else have I done? I've got another length. This was the end of an earring, so because this is a little jump ring, and when you have a jump ring, it joins in the center, and you can take your two little pliers and you don't pull it out, but you just twist it a little bit, and then the jump ring opens, and then I put my earring on it, and then I just twisted it back. So I thought that would look really nice. And I'm just spacing my beads between my dangly things because I don't want everything just clustered up together. And I love this one, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this nice one I made with pearls. And I'm going to use this thing. Gee, I wish I knew what this was called, but you know, it just kind of snaps in and it creates length on that. So that can go there. Oh, loving this. Then how about I need something short here. So I'm going to use this little one, and because I got loop at the top or the bottom, I can pick which one I want. So I'm going to have that at the top. Ooh, love it. Then I just wanted, oh yeah, I took this apart as well. This is like a mini rings of a necklace. So I've taken this off. I've got a loop at the top and the bottom. But how about let's see if I close that jump ring. Yes, I did. Let's put that there. Sure. And then I've got my leaf at the top, and oh, you can hear that it sounds nice. Oh, you know what I also have too? I have one little jingle bell left. I think I will put my jingle bell on the bottom so that it's hanging down at the bottom. Maybe we'll make more sound that way. So how about on this one, because we haven't put this one on yet. Okay, got my jingle bell. And what do I need? I just had a dangle, so I think, yeah, I love that. You know what? I think I'm going to use this. I also have another earring clasp from, I don't really wear earrings anymore, so that goes on there. This is looking great. Oh, it sounds nice. Might as well put this one on because in the spirit of this dangle, let's keep it going. And I think I'm gonna put another one of these, or what about this one? And this one's kind of a bit more slender from the top, so it's not gonna stick out of the pin. Wow, yeah, I'm loving that. And I can just hang that off of a hole that I punch in the spine of my boho journal. So let's just have a quick peek at my work in progress journal. And so here is one of those. I've just attached it on the bottom of this. I think I weaved it through, and this is one of my fabric beads. Then I wanted to show you this little pocket, and I just kind of sewn these up inside this ribbon, and these have jingle bells, and I think those look so sweet. And then the last one that I did was another one of the fabric beads. This is lace that I've done up to turn into a bead as well. I've got a nice big ring on the bottom in case I wanted to hang something off of that. And then from the top one, I've just fed some different little twines, gold, and then gold, red, and then a black and white baker's twine. And then I just fed some beads onto it. And then I tied it off with some metal at the top, put a paper clip on it, and then this can go anywhere I want in my book as a paper clip bookmark. And isn't that beautiful? So I hope that that helped us all feel a little less intimidated by beading. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.